All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Recliner Sports Talk. My name is Nick.
I'm Brandon.
Episode 31 here. Zach had was a little busy this week, so it's just back to the original two here, a little throwback for you guys. We're going to talk some NBA playoffs, talking about the Suns and then this Bucks Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals series. Then baseball, we got these substance checks now, little players heated up about it. Then a little golf action, Jon Rahm, is he the GOAT? And I'm not saying the GOAT now, but future, could he be on that track? We've said this about guys before, right?
That's the thing, Rory, even speed, it's tough.
So we'll get into that. And then lastly, Brandon and I 100% I think agree on this. That trick shot videos are very overhyped. Overhyped. If you have the money and time to do it, guess what? Anybody can do it.
Anything.
But we'll get into that as well. But first up, NBA playoffs. So right now, game last night was crazy, and arguably one of the best players on both teams, I'll say top 5 in the series. Chris Paul isn't even playing. How hot are the Suns right now, Brandon?
Dude, since the bubble last year, the Suns have literally been on fire. I mean, they have the second best record in basketball this season. The bubble, they didn't lose. And then the playoffs, they've lost 2 games. They're 9-2 in the playoffs. They lost to the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers, who have a top 3 player in the world in LeBron James and a top 10 player when healthy in Anthony Davis. The Suns have Chris Paul, who's never won, and a bunch of young guys. They had no business being this good in the playoffs, but this is their coming out party. They have a young team. Like, they are built for the future.
They are.
I know Chris Paul isn't going to be there forever, but he could, when he comes back, hopefully soon, he can help them this year, maybe next year, and then the prime of the Sun, like the core.
Yeah. Well, they have what every team wants, right? They have the guard that can shoot the ball. All-star. The guy that I saw comparisons of Kobe. Now, I think that's pushing a little too far. And 2, I think Devin Booker's his own player. I think comparing him to Kobe.
Well, he's not as efficient as Kobe.
No, and then you have Ayton, who's killing it.
He has absolutely changed my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, he's your typical old school big, but he's elite at that.
But he's mobile.
Yeah, and he is. You saw it last night.
He can shoot. He does shoot sometimes.
Yeah. The game-winning score was an alley-oop to him.
Yes.
And he's going there with guys in the paint on him as well. But I agree. They have the perfect storm. And 2, Chris Paul's doing a great job for this team. When he went to the Clippers, he was the guy.
Yeah.
Right? And he was the guy with other guys. Doesn't need to be the guy, but when they need that big shot, they can go to him to be that guy.
I'll say Cameron Payne last night had 29 points. He had the most. Booker had an off night.
Yeah.
And Cam Payne showed up.
Well, his nose too. The whole,
Here's the thing, though. He comes off the bench. Their bench, I mean, they have him. They have Cam Johnson, who can just flat out ball. We knew that in North Carolina off the bench. Then you got like you said, Ayton. I love Jay Crowder. Always been a huge Jay Crowder fan. He might not have the most flashy box score, but he does things.
He does the tough things
to win games for teams. He does good things. Bridges is a baller. I love Bridges. They had a squad. They have a real squad, and I think. I put them. I don't know what Vegas says, but I put them as the favorites to win.
Has to be. And 2, when Chris Paul obviously gets older and leaves here, now they can get that role guard because Booker's going to take that next step.
This is all they needed. So they're going to be good moving forward. There's going to be all kinds of veterans who are going to come to the Suns now because they have a young core.
Phoenix is a great spot,
and that's another
great area to retire and everything. If you ever hear, like, obviously Barkley was rooting for the Sixers and stuff and all that. But Barkley talks about it too, about how awesome Phoenix was, just an area. A lot of athletes like to retire to that area.
I think we talked about this on a way earlier episode. Like LA, New York, Miami, you probably stay there all year. Honestly, Phoenix, you probably stay there all year. People do train in Phoenix.
Yeah, because especially in the winter, you get that
yeah.
and does get cooler there as well, at night especially there. But
You've
then
been there, right?
I have, and it was awesome. I went in February, and during the day I was wearing shorts and like a long sleeve shirt in January, and then at night though it was like 40 degrees, freezing.
In the first week of March this year, I was in Utah, but we had a connecting flight in Phoenix. So in Utah, it was 38 degrees when we left. When we get to Phoenix, it was 84.
Wow.
It was in March.
Yeah.
And everyone's wearing shorts in the airport. I'm just bundled up because we're going back to Philly where it's 30 degrees. And in Utah, it was 30. It's like, whoa, what the heck? Everyone's in shorts here.
Yeah, they say that Scottsdale for spring training is awesome too. An awesome trip. But anyway, the Bucks series, I'm going to go ahead and say it. The Bucks sweep.
Yeah, they will.
The Bucks sweep. This is that Cinderella story team, and I'm not saying the Hawks are not good. Obviously, they beat my Sixers, but the Hawks needed everything they possibly could have happen, go their way, emotions up and down in every which way. That is draining on a team. That was like a finals series for them in the second round.
Well, look at the best player on Atlanta or on the Sixers, Embiid. So Trae Young is obviously the Hawks' best player, but their second and third best players, Clint Capella and John Collins, can. I mean, they can.
And Herter had to have a career night.
You're right. He went 0 for 7 2 nights ago, but they can decently. Capella's a good defender, so they can put two bodies on Embiid to slow him down, and then you have to rely on Tobias Harris, Seth Curry balling out, and
Danny Green going down. I said it was going to help, but it did hurt.
And Ben Simmons obviously offensively. So the game plan versus Sixers, what the Hawks are doing is just try to put bodies on Embiid, and you'll probably win the game. Even if Trae Young goes 5 to 23, you can still win. You can't do that versus Milwaukee.
No.
Who the hell is stopping Giannis?
And Drew Holiday too has been amazing.
Drew Holiday. He's all defense. I mean, first team.
And he can shoot threes.
Drew Holiday is gonna lock down Trae Young.
Yeah.
He's gonna lock him down.
And dude, not saying this is some like, oh my gosh, that's a huge loss, but DiVincenzo was starting and playing well for the Bucks.
It was him, Holiday, Middleton, Giannis, and
Brook
Lopez.
Yeah. Right? Or is Brook Lopez, I think he's coming off the bench. I could be wrong, but he's been playing well. He's hit a couple big threes.
And then even Connaughton's playing well off the bench.
Connaughton is playing well. Former baseball player drafted by the Orioles there.
Shout out Notre Dame.
Yeah. So again, I think the Bucks sweep there. Yes.
Bucks Suns, I think.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to some baseball substance talk. All right. So obviously, last night. Today is Wednesday, so last night was Tuesday. There was the Girardi and Max Scherzer bit there where Girardi asked 3 times for the substances, and finally Scherzer was about to whip it out his pants.
How weird was that?
Yeah. And he's not the only guy that did that. A couple other players did that last night too, Sergio Romo being one of them. And then the dude for the Cardinals, he's literally almost took off his pants showing the refs.
Weird.
But Girardi and him obviously getting into it. They call him Mad Max for a reason. He gets super intense. But all these other guys are getting mad as well. I think it's a compliment if a coach is asking for your stuff being that good and you're dominating. But the one dude, I don't know if it was Sergio Romo, but someone gave up a home run and then was asked to check for the substances. And he was like, are you kidding me? So again, I think the coaches are making a mockery of it now.
Yeah. Dude, MLB is
agree. Because they're saying pretty much, you're going to get that 10-game suspension when you have teams like the Astros who didn't get
they still World Series
on the wrist for cheating way more than pine tar on a ball. So I think it's the manager's ways of making a mockery of the entire whole rule of everything there. What do you think?
I just think baseball as an organization is, I wouldn't say a clown show because Roger Goodell is a clown show, but it's the second most poorly ran, arguably now the worst with Manfred in their organization.
It's just a joke.
They've had issues since we were born, since before we were born. Baseball has had serious issues. It seems like basketball is pretty much the most well-run in hockey, but God, baseball, with the steroids.
And NFL's so big, even though Goodell does stupid stuff, he can't mess, unless he does something completely outrageous, no matter what he does, he can't mess up the NFL.
Well, and it's not like people cheat in baseball more than any other sport. I know the whole Deflategate and the whole Bounty Gate and all that other stuff in football. And some people get busted with steroids, but not really a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Baseball is just a joke. And I don't know. Scherzer has been dominant his whole career. He's never used pine tar.
Yeah.
Girardi's he's a clown for that.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of things where people are actually defending Girardi, not for what he did yesterday, but saying don't take yesterday as a way to judge him because he is a really nice guy. But people are agreeing that was just kind of 3 times. I'm a Phillies fan. 3 times is way too much.
Scherzer's not using pine tar. He never was.
And sometimes, the second time might not be a bad thing because, all right, the guy's probably like, I got checked once. I can go throw it on now. I'm not going to get checked again. And then does that. But 3 times, that is outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, he has a right to be mad. Why are we taking our pants off, though? I never got that.
Yeah, the fact that they're
doing
that,
doing here?
The pitchers are getting way out of hand with it, in my opinion. I could imagine if I was pitching, getting mad after the 3rd time, but after the 1st time, getting mad, come on. Some of these relievers and stuff that are getting pissed off after, it's a serious thing.
It's happening, and they have to know that.
Donaldson said he knows for a fact, just from his knowledge, 40 pitchers that do it. So why not check? If 40 pitchers are doing it, it's just like any type of.
That's one a team, at least.
Now, obviously, this is not an actual crime, but you get a guy that gets caught shoplifting or something. It's not their first time. There's multiple times that it's happened.
Probably not.
Same thing here. There's not just 40 pitchers and exactly 40 pitchers that are doing it. It's probably 3 to 4 guys per team that are doing it.
Well, look at steroids, and people seem to already forget this. Big Papi got busted for steroids early in his career, and his name was never brought up later. People would always bash A-Rod. They would bash Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa.
World Series help, right?
David Ortiz never got busted. Andy Pettitte, not for a little bit. Andy Pettitte, there was a lot. Go look up the list of how many people got busted for steroids.
There's guys still.
Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, there's guys.
No one brings that up.
Yeah, he's 40 years old.
Ryan Braun got busted twice.
Yep. Ryan Braun got busted in the MVP year too.
Yeah.
Or after the MVP year. So it's like you knew he did it during the MVP year.
And it's kind of like hush hush. Not Ryan Braun, I wouldn't say, but David Ortiz is the most hush hush steroid job I've seen.
Yeah, and I think it's because he's beloved in the city. He broke a curse. He won some championships. He was a captain of the team. That's what happened. If A-Rod wins more than one World Series with the Yankees, I bet.
If he wasn't on the Yankees,
that probably helps out too, right?
He was on the Yankees.
But here's the thing that helps out with Big Papi. He was never the best player on their team. He had big moments. He was never the best player. A-Rod making that much money was one of the best players in Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah, he was. And he was a villain when he came to the Yankees from Texas.
Because he was always making that money move. Making money move to the Rangers. No, but he didn't go to the Rangers because they're a great organization.
Hell no.
He went to it because money and the tax, everything. And
Texas.
So, again, who knows? But yeah, we kind of get off there. But baseball has had a history of cheating.
Well,
it will never stop. They've been cheating since the game's been
literally been cheating the whole time.
They're not going to stop. They really are. And that's just part of the game, unfortunately and fortunately, right? People love the steroid era, to be honest with you. People were crazy about baseball. That might have been the most popular baseball been prior to, the NFL being big and the NBA being big.
Nick, you and I both know, when we were growing up in the early 2000s, baseball had rivalries.
Yeah.
It was legit. It was way more intense than it is now. More people loved it. It was just way more entertaining. I think we should...
Football and basketball took over. Now, basketball is big because you had the MJ.
Really taking over.
But basketball's really obviously taken over. Baseball, and we've talked about it multiple times, until baseball makes the move to update the game. And I'm not saying update the rules of the game. The whole seven innings thing, I think that's great for the doubleheaders. But you don't have to change rules of baseball. Get it more out there. We've talked about the whole videos and the copyrights and all that. If you want to keep on growing the game, those are things you got to do.
Honestly, but when we were growing up, let's be honest, in the early 2000s to the 2000 to 2010, look who won the most during that period. Boston, St. Louis, the Phillies, and the Yankees. Well, Boston, New York, Philly, that's got like 30% of the
San
U.S.
Francisco
population.
won 3.
Well, yeah.
California.
Well, that was in 2010, though. I mean, like that early part, it was dominant. The Northeast, and we could be biased. So when I'm saying like, oh, baseball was popular, well, we were in the area where teams were winning, and we're also in the most popular.
St. Louis is one of the biggest baseball towns in America as well, which helps out.
Yeah.
So, all right. Moving on from baseball, going to a little golf. All right, I'm gonna read some stats off for you, Brandon. I know you're gonna be the big golf guy here. First of all, Jon Rahm, 26 years old. So he's only.
I didn't know he was that young.
He's only a year older than me.
He looks a 1.5 years older than me.
Yeah, and he's 1.5 years older than Brandon. 6 PGA wins, and he's 26. He just was the U.S. Open champ, and he's the #1 ranked. Just took over DJ spot, and he's 6'2". 220 pounds.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
That's a big dude, all right? So that's about my size right here. But, and I'm not trying to say I'm some big dude, but compared to some of these golfers,
Rory,
they're not that big, and obviously they're great. You don't have to be huge to be a golfer.
Bryson's 6'3", 6'4".
No, I think he's 6'1".
Is he really?
He's
I thought
6'1".
I could have sworn he was 6'3".
So again, just seeing this stuff here, I love seeing it. I'm a Jon Rahm fan. Seeing some of these putts. Seeing some of these putts he hits, and that hole-in-one shot he had on the trick shots, I forget what it was. It might have been Augusta. I don't think it was. I can't remember. Where he skipped the ball across the water and got the hole-in-one. He does some cool stuff. Keep on promoting guys like him and Koepka. And I'm not the biggest DeChambeau fan. I like watching his drives. But guess what? He's getting people involved into the game. So I do like it. Finau, all these guys, it's cool to see. Brandon, I'm going to let you go.
Been playing.
He hasn't been playing well, no, but he's a guy that gets people in the game. He's good at social media. He's good at doing YouTube stuff and getting people out there.
Bryson's good for the game. I don't like him. He seems like he's too uppity.
Yeah.
You know, like he just thinks he's so good. Yeah. At least guys like Koepka. Koepka's just a dude.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
A dude. And Rahm, same way. Rahm, he's not like this. You know, 10 years ago, all those golfers were just uppity, uptight. You know, country club type dudes. I like how Rahm is personal. Yeah. I love Koepka, how he's personal. Jordan Spieth is, Jordan Spieth wasn't poor growing up. We can admit that. But at least he's not too much of a D-bag. He seems like he's legit. So a lot of these guys, what they have going for them is they have personalities that are relatable. You know, they're not like too like hoity-toity. You know, they're acting like normal people. And I like that. Jon Rahm, you know, the passion when he made 2 long putts on 17 and 18, you gotta love it. I mean, I was rooting for the guy. And after seeing him up by 6 strokes, you know, get testing positive for COVID and taking off the course, that made me. I told my dad, we were watching it together. I told him from the get-go, I'm like, man, I really hope Jon Rahm wins this. And sure enough, and I called before it even started. I'm like, that Henley dude, that Hughes dude, and I didn't. Louis always there, so I knew he'd be up there, but I knew Henley would choke. What was he, 600?
Yeah, something like that.
I knew those guys would choke. And I do have to give a shout out to Louis Oosthuizen. That dude, he is very good. I know he finished second in the U.S. or in the PGA Championship. He finished second now. He's always in the money. I respect that. He doesn't hit it 350 yards. He's the #1 putter in golf this year. I don't know if
big part of golf. Big part of golf.
He's that dude. I like Louis a lot, and I hope he wins a major one day. Hey, he could win the British major. I know the crazy thing is, as much as he has won in his career, I know he's South African. He's never won on U.S. soil ever.
Really? Wow.
Ever, which is crazy because I know like early on, I think he was on the European tour at some point. He definitely won 1 major, and it was in Britain. I'm pretty sure maybe it's a major on U.S. soil. I don't know. He might have not won. You're gonna have to fact check me on this. I don't think he's won on U.S. soil any major or any match.
Yeah. So again, I love it. Jon Rahm, they did a little interview too, and they're like, "So how did you prepare for the Sunday?" And he said, "To be honest with you, I woke up. My favorite esports team was playing Call of Duty." And he said, I knew it was going to be about an hour and a half, so I had time to watch it. He has a baby, and his wife was out there as well. Took my baby for about an hour while watching it, had some daddy-daughter time, then went and golf. I didn't do anything crazy. I just was relaxing,
normal guy.
Golf. Again, yeah, not doing, taking his this many vitamins, making sure he had this. He's like, I had some coffee and I watched some esports. So, and again, I love seeing that type of stuff. So, all right. So, last thing we're going to talk about. Trick shot for you guys. Okay, you see we have a bunch of ping pong balls. We have some 2 red solo cups here. Brandon and I think we've always thought this, if you just have the time and resources, anybody watching this, us, anybody can do trick shot videos. You see people now doing it with darts, playing cards. I've seen darts going into a basketball air pump. So again,
Jesus,
but the people
really?
keep the timer up there and it's like 4 hours. Some people do it in like 2 minutes, then the next one's like 12 hours until they get some of these trick shots. And again, I don't know where you get 12 hours to practice all this stuff. And again, it's probably not all in a row. They probably stop it and start it and stop it and start when they have time. But still, that is a lot of free time I'm dishing out for trick shots. But if you have the time, you have the resources, like Dude Perfect. Oops.
Yeah,
they've done some great things. But guess what? They take a long time to do this stuff.
Oh yeah, with that.
But here's the thing: they do some great things, getting pro athletes involved, and they
have the money too.
Yeah, they have their own warehouse.
Yeah.
And they have
That's
all
their
the
job.
equipment. They've done a great job promoting it for kids and stuff
That's
like that
true.
as well.
You're right.
But what we wanted to do today, what we're going to do, I want anybody watching, if you'd like it, we're going to put it on our Instagram as well. Send us some trick shots that you do, and we will put them in next week's video. Me, Brandon, and Zach as well are going to do different trick shots throughout the week and make a little compilation of it and put it in next week's video. Just showing you that, again, we're going to be shooting it on our phones, our iPhones, and we can make just as good a trick video show.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Just around the house doing different things. So right now, all right, we are going to start. We're both going to see if we can hit on the first try here. We'll say it. Probably won't happen, but here we go. You ready?
Go, you go first. Confidence. Can the
Not even close. Got no harder.
Oh! Does the bounce count?
Bounce. I'll take the
we
bounce
count the
there.
bounce?
I'll take the bounce there. All right, it took Brandon 1 minute and 15 seconds. You saw it on the bounce. You want to keep trying till you get it in the air?
You got to get it in the air.
All right,
I'm not
1 minute, 15 seconds. All right, we're going to still keep going here. I will start the clock over. Let me start the clock over here. Okay, just so you guys see it, Brandon had one bouncing. We both want to try to see if we can get it there in the air. Okay, and here we go.
There it is. I got it.
Got it?
Yep.
Look at that. There it is.
Woo!
It is not that hard. You just have to have time. All right, so hopefully my editing skills were really good there. You guys saw Brandon did it in about, there he is right there. He bounced one in about a minute and, 30 so? And then he did it in about 20 seconds for the actual hit it off in there after making that one. So within 5 minutes, bounced one in, got one in the air. Now, obviously this isn't crazy difficult, right? But if again, we're proven if you have the time and the resources, you can do any of them. So we're going to try to get creative. Brandon's got one of those baskets that pretty similar to the ones the Dude Perfect dudes use, where you can throw it 100 miles per hour off the backboard and it probably goes in, the forgiving backboard.
I hear this all the time.
But he does not use it like that all the time, sometimes maybe. But again,
I don't bank.
We will get pretty creative with it, hopefully. Again, doing different things around the house or outside, whatever. But again, no doubt in my mind, someone give us a bunch of money, we could be Do Perfect 2.0.
Oh my God.
The non-kids version. We'll be the adult version.
I easily could do that.
You know what I mean?
That's my dream job to be
Give
honest.
us a warehouse with a putting green and
Yeah.
all those cool toys and stuff. We do the same thing. All right, Brandon, any closing thoughts?
I just want to say, Ben Simmons, I had to support the jersey today. You suck. Go work on the gym. Go work on doing stuff like this. You can't even make that. You know, you give Ben Simmons 12 hours, he can't make that ping pong shot. He's that bad.
All right, I'll go opposite of that. Ben Simmons did play very poorly. All right, everybody wants his head right now. But I'm going to go out on a limb. The Sixers aren't going to trade him. I think the contract's too big, and it's 1 year into the contract. Now, if he had like a year left, 2 years left, I think they can make that trade. I don't think it's possible. I saw a couple C.J. McCollum switches. I think that would be great for both teams, but I don't think it happens. Just for player personnel-wise, really it'd be better for the Sixers.
I was about to say it would be way better for the Sixers.
Here's what I think they can do, and I saw this on Twitter. I think they go out and they get Kyle Lowry, and I'm not saying that's like Kyle Lowry's amazing, right?
But look what Chris Paul did.
And I'm not saying he's as good as Chris Paul, but look what Drew Holiday is doing. They were that Drew Holiday away, and you might say they had Bledsoe. I think Drew Holiday is better for what he's doing right now.
Drew Holiday is better than
exactly.
So
again, I think that's what the Sixers are. I do think it's going to be a heart-to-heart with Doc and Ben, and it's going to be Doc saying either you got to shoot or you got to become a power forward, and that's what you got to do. And can you still bring up the ball as a power forward?
Sometimes.
Yeah, but you got to stay on that block, and you got to take shots on the block. You can't kick those out unless you're getting double teamed and kick out. And that will help out Embiid as well.
I agree.
Okay? And again, it doesn't just have to be the block. It could be that low post area.
We'll see
that
how
high post area.
We'll see how mentally tough Ben is if he can do that.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry would be a good they need a veteran locker.
He's that Jimmy Butler toughness.
Who has won though. He has won.
Yeah.
He's been an all NBA guy. He's been like an all-star multiple times. They need that guy in the locker room. I'm not saying he has to be the alpha on the court because, like, look at Phoenix. Booker's probably the.
I think Kyle.
Chris Paul's had a great year, but I think Booker's more talented as of right now.
Yeah.
Embiid is obviously going to be the best player on that team, but Kyle Lowry is what you kind of need.
Yeah.
That.
Well, Dwight Howard, and Danny Green kind of that too.
Well, okay, they're role play. I mean,
they're
Kyle
not
Lowry's
the leadership guy that Kyle Lowry.
Okay, first, Dwight Howard was never a leader.
Yeah, but he's that all NBA guy.
No, yeah,
and
but
Danny Green's a championship guy.
Dwight Howard really fell once he left Orlando. He did.
Yeah, he did. But again, he's that guy. But again, if let's say you bring back Dwight, which I think they should, Danny Green's going to be there, and you bring in a Kyle Lowry.
I'm a big Kyle Lowry fan. I
hate him unless he comes on the team.
I like Kyle Lowry. I think he's really good.
Yeah. So, hey, last time you'll have to hear about the Sixers unless some crazy trade happens, everybody. I know you guys hate it. Also, College World Series been really good. NC State's been balling. Some hot teams there playing. It's just fun to watch that these teams that were just middle of the pack got hot, and that's college athletics or any athletics.
JMU softball. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, well, they've been pretty good, too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's all I got. My name's Nick.
I'm Brandon.
Thank you guys for watching Recliner Sports Talk, and we'll catch you guys next week on episode 32.